So we go on to read about Yeshua bringing other people into the faith that he's preaching. This walk of righteousness that Yeshua is demonstrating and preaching, right? He's going around healing people. He's going around talking about the kingdom. He's preaching forgiveness and reconciliation with the Father. And this life that he led and life that he taught gets picked up by the disciples, right? The 12, or at least the 11, since one of the disciples betrayed him and fell away, right? Judas. But the other 11. And then Paul comes along and takes this commission from the risen Yeshua on the road to Damascus and begins to write letters on how to walk this theology out, right? Even more so than any of the other 11 apostles. Paul was utilized by Yeshua, even though Paul wasn't one of the original 12 or one of the remaining 11. So Paul is really the primary author of the New Testament. Everyone agrees, right? There are 27 books in the New Testament, and Paul wrote, 13 or 14 of them, depending on how you dispute the book of Hebrews. I think it's 13, 14 last time I checked. Maybe it's 17? I need to go back and count. But he wrote most of them, right? That's fair to say. So it's Paul that is really, and I'm closing with this, it's Paul that's really looked to as the chief contributor to this idea that Judaism has been replaced by Christianity. Because when you read through Paul's writings and look at his own lifestyle, like I referenced Galatians, Paul talks about this former manner of life, and also we seem to find a heavy emphasis in Paul's life about this old man and new man experience, and about how that something is stripped away from us when we experience the new life and new birth in Messiah. And so really the question is, again, is Judaism compatible with the Christian message? To the degree that Judaism can be practiced as a believer in Jesus while you retain your faith in Messiah, but yet still practice the lifestyle that God outlined for his people in the pages of the Torah, right? If you're walking out that biblical lifestyle as a Jew and you are doing your best to keep the commandments not under your own power, but under the power of the Holy Spirit. Now I realize that, and we've been talking about this earlier in my study before I even started the recording, sanctification in the Bible is a process that is a kind of a partnership between the Spirit of God in your life and your own will and volition, right? You have to consciously decide that you're going to do what God tells you to do, but at the same time, it's God who's going to empower you and change you from the inside out so that you want to do what God is telling you to do. But at the end of the day, there's something that you need to do, right? My arms and legs aren't going to move in robotic fashion automatically and start keeping the commandments as if I'm surprised. How did that happen, right? Maybe I am surprised by holiness from time to time, right? Because I might think that I would have reacted a different way in any given scenario. But the point I'm trying to bring in my closing here is that as we make a conscious choice to keep the commandments of God, the ones that are outlined in the Bible, the ones that are already given to us in the Torah, there's no need to think of that as an old religion. We don't have to think of it as incompatible with the new life in Messiah. Indeed, as we read through the book of Acts, and I'm really closing with this, there are thousands of Jews, I'm paraphrasing, I think it's Acts chapter 21, there are thousands of Jews that were known to have professed faith in Messiah, and yet they were zealous for the Torah. That's what Luke, the author of the book of Acts, wrote for us. That's the details they left for us. This alone tells me that Pastor MacArthur's description of Judaism as being incompatible with religion can't be completely accurate. Because otherwise, the fact that those Jews were still zealous for the Torah would have been a black eye on their track record as Christians. So that's my take. So that'll do it for our study on Judaism v. Christianity for tonight. We'll pick this up next week, where we'll begin to talk about the example from Pastor David Guzik. And we're looking at the same passage in Matthew. We're just going to look at it through the lens of another Christian pastor.